There we go.
Ancient and vengeful, the Tomb Kings have awoken from their millennial slumber. Theirs is the wrath of the cheated, for they were promised an eternity of heavenly glory, but were imprisoned between life and death.
I can't believe you're coming for me in the opening quote yet again, ragging on me for being an elderly millennial. It is disgraceful behaviour, and you should do better. How is everyone doing? We're here. We're going to be talking a little bit about the UK Masters, which I'll be honest, I wasn't necessarily sure I was going to talk about, because a couple of people have already done videos on the subject. If you want to see more in-depth deep dives where people go into all of the videos, obviously check out Forgotten North, which is Scott's channel, where he's running the event, also playing in it. I have to play in round 1, the bastard man. I assume he's done it deliberately to make me sad, because his list is heinous. But we'll get to that. We're going to look at some of the interesting lists. We've got about 10, 11 lists that we're going to look at. And also shout out to my number one hater, Pash Hammer, King Pash. You may know him as not actually my number one hater, but he's done a full deep dive. I haven't watched it yet, nor will I watch it. Foul Mucky puts it on his channel, but I'm sure it'll be great. And if you want to see more details, then go to watch either of those videos. And Lewis is just getting embroiled in a beef that Lewis, the things that Lewis was saying about you before we went live were frankly,
I'm a right bastard.
Yeah, frankly disgraceful.
Never even met you before.
No,
Bash, but...
just some really out of pocket stuff. Like that man looks like he's got 2 eyes and a beard. I'm like, oh God, that's so rude. I can't believe that you'd say such a thing. Anyway, we're here, and you might be able to tell one of us enjoys paying for heating. The other one maybe doesn't. How many layers have you got on there, bud? Hey, Bash, good to see you.
We've had our carpets cleaned today, so I have an excuse in that the carpet cleaning man said that you had to have the heating on full blast so that they dry properly. So that's my excuse. I was going to say that doesn't make me sound middle class, but then I've had a man come around and clean our carpets, so I've really shot myself in the foot there, haven't I?
Yeah, you didn't even humanise him. You didn't say his name. You didn't say, "Oh, Steve came round." There's a no. Yeah. One of the hired help came round to do a little bit of the manual work. Disgraceful behaviour. I should really look to replace you with a less bougie co-host. That's the goal for 2027, maybe. Sounds very much like a rich man's problem. True. Good to see everyone who is here. Mr. Dave Bees, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. And is an Orc Wyvern a must-take? And is it best to bang a Black Orc on it or a Shaman? I'm super underwhelmed by putting a Shaman on the top of a Wyvern. I did it at a couple of events and it was pretty naff. And that was before Pillar of Fire was nerfed, so you could get much less output from it. Nigel, good to see you. That rat bastard here as well. He's not a master, he's a very naughty boy. I'm confused to the context there. I feel like there was maybe something that I've missed and I couldn't tell you what it is.
We were talking about the master.
There we go. Very good. Skullwhisker says the show starts at 2. That depends where you are. If you are in England, no, it's 8 p.m. But in your time zone, perhaps, through the magic of
magic of podcasting.
Yeah, that too. Steve's here as well. How's it going? He did a great job on them as well, gutted. And this is after he sold you your house as well. Like, yeah, the disrespect that Steve's taking is, it's disgusting. But yeah, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to do is let's have a look at what you've been up to. In your classic way, you've painted a really nice model and you want to show it off to the viewers, which is entirely fair enough because it looks great. You want to talk about this beastie?
Yeah. Did you just say something nice about me? So I'm glad I'm sitting down. Did you just say that looked great?
Yeah,
say that a little bit louder for the camera.
No.
No, I have finally finished my Sentinel. Possibly the longest build I've ever done, and then probably one of the quickest paints I've ever done.
Yep.
Because it is a sandstone Sentinel, which I know technically doesn't exist, but it does allow me to run it as whatever Sentinel I like. Like, just tell you at the start of the game that's what that type of Sentinel is. And I've used the same recipe. You'll see if you look at the base, the sandstone rocks on the base match the
Mm,
sandstone of the Sentinel itself, which also obviously matches the rocks and the bits of rock and things like that that are on the base of the infantry, etc. So it should tie it all together. The Sentinel is from the Earth, of course. Um, and yeah, so that meant that the actual painting of the Sentinel didn't really take very long at all because it's mostly just washes and dry brushes,
nice.
um, and without a huge amount. There's not like a lot of highlighting or anything like that to do because it all just comes through with the dry brushing. And actually, the mini itself, give it its credits due, looks great just as a mini, but it's also really well textured.
Hmm.
So even like the smoother bits of plastic have a bit of a rough texture to them.
Mm.
So just dry brushing it just brings that texture straight to the fore, and you don't have to worry about going around sort of manually highlighting all the edges or anything like that. Couple of watered down layers of washes and in the right places, and suddenly you've got a mini that I think really works, and just sort of sprinkled in the blue on the gems to give it a bit of contrast,
Mm.
a bit more zhuzh, and I think it seems to come through really nice. I think it
Technical
looks,
terminology, that. Zhuzh.
yeah, a bit more zhuzh. Which is what I did on the base as well, incidentally, because the base of the infantry, they've got the rocks and the flowers. Gamers Grass, by the way, for all of that stuff is excellent. They're not sponsoring the show, but they do some excellent different grasses and flowers and things like that, which I
I was
think
going to
works really
say,
well.
hold off, giving out shout outs. That's no, yeah,
But it
good
is
stuff.
on,
I have bought some of their stuff before and
yeah,
like using it.
yeah, they're very good. It is on the base is massive though; it's
Yeah.
huge. So just putting rocks and flowers did start to look a little bit bare. So that's why I decided to sort of scatter across a few like Cathayan shields, some of the pouches and the kettles and stuff like that. That are the tea kettles that are in the Jade Warrior kit. There's all the sort of extras that you normally put on their belts or things like that. So put that in, and then added the banner just to give the base a little bit more height as well.
Sure.
And painted the same Chinese characters that are on the first Jade Warrior unit I've got, which stands for Yellow Sky or Azure Sky, depending on what translation you use. I think.
Slightly different. You know, those are
Yeah.
two slightly different colours. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
and it's
pick
sort of
one.
yellow heaven as well, so it doesn't have to be sky. So I think there's just a character in Chinese can represent multiple different things. I think so. I'm calling it yellow sky or yellow heaven. I think is what I'm going for.
That seems super
And
reasonable. I'm not, you know, it's not one of my areas of expertise, the Chinese language. I
no,
believe it's like a tonal language though, so how
yeah,
you say things makes a big difference. So I don't know how that translates to the written language. And I
yes,
will continue to probably not know. Not one of the more hard languages to learn, so I'll probably
yeah, absolutely.
hold off on that
I
one.
think I'd quite like to learn it just because it's so much history there, but yeah,
Sure.
I don't have a million hours to learn it.
Wow, that's disappointing. Can't believe you'd say such a thing. All right, perfect. Well, great, lovely model, and we can move
Thanks,
on.
mate.
In terms of hobby
It's
stuff,
done being nice to me now.
yeah, absolutely. How was your? This is the first time we've talked since Christmas. You said you worked through, which is very disappointing to hear. But
Indeed.
did you have a bit of a break at least?
Yeah, we had Christmas Day and Boxing Day was off, and I took Christmas Eve off as well. So everyone paying our UK tax pounds, don't worry, the government's still working in full swing over Christmas. If you
Was
work
the
for
office
the
not just shut
library,
down for like a chunk of time?
nope,
It's
because
rivers. You'd probably be all right. They're still going to
well,
be there.
we're a Category 1 responder, same as like the fire
Mm.
brigade and the ambulance service. So technically,
You're not putting yourself in the same standard as a
oh,
fireman
well,
or
no,
a
but we are technically in the Category 1 incidents, which are like the bad incidents.
sure.
If it was an environmental based one or like a big fire or something like that, we would be called out the same way the fire brigade would. So
You'd be called out for a big fire.
hashtag heroes, yeah, because normally if it's a big fire, it would be like a chemical factory or something like that, which would be an environmental disaster alongside
Right, okay,
everything
sure. So they'll put it out and you'll tuck.
that we'll stand around in high vis jackets looking important, getting paid.
Yeah, absolutely. The classic where, 9 people round a hole, one of them with a shovel and 8 of them with clipboards. But yes, that is good stuff. I mean, the more you know. This is the first year where I've actually been able to take a week off over Christmas, because every
Yeah,
year up until this point in my
no.
adult life, I've either worked in hospitality or sold food to hospitality, and weirdly, both of those require you to be around, and I usually get like 4 or 5 days off, which is not bad. But taking the full sort of 7 days, and then I think I extended it. I sort of like half worked for a couple of days as well, which was quite nice. That was it was a good to get a break in there. I didn't really do any hobby stuff over the winter. It was just nice to not think about Warhammer for a bit. Went for some walks, had some nice coffee, did my Boxing Day classic tradition now of having sushi for lunch. Not Boxing Day, Christmas Eve. That's the one. No, is it Boxing Day? Oh,
day before or day after?
I don't even know which. I can't get my own tradition straight. It is one of the two. It's definitely one of the two. I think it's probably Christmas Eve.
Had Santa visited when you had the sushi, or was he still yet to come?
Oh, I don't know. I know which day's which. I just don't remember which one it is. There's levels of Muppetry here, and it was a lower level. But it was nice to go see some family, which is good. And I think that's about it. Hello to everyone who's jumped in chat. Apologies, I haven't been able to get you all, but we are going to go straight into the master discussion in a second. Before we do, if you are here and you haven't already, please give the stream a thumbs up. There's 38 of you here and only 4 likes. And why is that? Because I haven't asked you, because I'm bad at doing my job. But it does help get picked up by that YouTube algorithm. All of the good stuff there. Also, if you're interested in coaching, there is a code which I haven't put in the description of this video because, again, bad at my job, but will put in the description, which is 25% off for your first month of coaching if you do sign up during the month of January, because lots of people cancelled for December, and honestly, I'd like to get some more work back, is the reason for that sale. And I think we can move on to talking about the lists. Before we do, though, we should thanks. We should go into a little bit of background about the event, and by that I mean there are a couple of changes. This is, I don't know if this is what they normally run at Forgotten North. This is the first time I'll be going to one of their events. Why? Because it cost me 120 quid to get a train there and back. And then I also need accommodation. So it's just a bit of a pain in the backside to get to, as much as it's a shame. It's a shame that it wasn't over Christmas, because then I could have gone from Durham, where my family lives, which is, about 8 quid on the train for a return, because it's just down the road. But unfortunately, I will be having to trek all the way back to the northeast after a short amount of time. So, what are the changes? The comp is, you can't use regen saves on wounds lost to unstable. So that's the undead. They don't get to double dip. If you've got... This is really specifically good against the Graveguard, because Graveguard with their Drakenhof banner gets them to a 5-up regen instead of a 6-up regen, means that they're going to be losing basically, the full lot of models that crumble to unstable. You're not saving any of them. Yeah. How it was prior to 1.5, probably how it's going to be in a month's time, when I assume they fix it in the FAQ. God, I hope they fix that in the FAQ. We will see. We will see. But that's the first one. Secondly, cannons must have line of sight to target unit or character, i.e. must have line of sight to the intended target, so they can't shoot things that are hidden by terrain. Like, this is cool. I'm on board with it. But I had not looked at that and gone, oh, this is a thing that needs to be changed. Do you remember, like, previous editions where you had to be able to see the thing you were shooting at? I feel like it's always just been, you shoot the point and then it bounces. Is this a change that you remember, like, rings true
not
to
off
you?
the top of my head. I mean,
I'm on board with it, but...
Oh, no, absolutely, I like it. And I guess the only question that is raised from this, which I'm sure they've addressed somewhere, is that if you've got a unit, so you're targeting, say, a unit that's 2 ranks deep, and there's another unit behind them, is the cannon allowed to bounce through the first unit and hit the second unit, or does it have to stop before it hits the second unit, because you can't technically see the second unit? That
is interestingly unclear. So you could do... It doesn't clarify, but if you remember back in the day when you had to guess whether you weren't allowed to pre-measure, you had to be like, oh, my guns are 24 inches, I've eyeballed it, I think my guns are in range. And what people would do is they'd start the shooting phase with like, okay, I'm going to shoot this pistol. Yeah. Oh, it's out of range. It's 17.4 inches away. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to shoot these things that I know are definitely in range. Or, oh, my pistol's targeting your like backlines. Oh, it's out of range. Okay, my cannon guesses 36.42 inches because that gets it to exactly where I want to be. So, yeah. maybe some unintended shenanigans that can go on there. Whereas you can try and do trick shots by firing at the unit in front, but you just put it like 2 inches in front of a unit and then go from there.
Yeah, I guess I'm sure Hash has said it's clarified somewhere in the chat how it works. So I guess you can't. I don't know whether it clarifies. Say you have got a thin unit with another unit behind. This is a weird situation. I don't know how often this would ever come up, but like you'd have a thin unit, and then the unit you actually want to hit behind.
Yeah.
Do you just put it like an inch in front of the thin unit because you don't actually care about hitting them, and then you just bounce it into the unit behind?
Yeah. That would be an interesting.
But to be honest, with cannons, it's not hitting multiple units that's the problem. It's hitting through terrain that's the issue. So I think the fact that they've clarified that, I think, is important. I think all TOs are doing that now. I think, or broadly,
I'm on board.
You shouldn't be able to shoot through terrain.
I don't play that many cannons, so this is great for me. Obviously, Cathay, not specifically targeting Cathay, but Cathay can drop 6 cannonballs in 1 turn, so kind of affects Cathay quite a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. Then we've got some army-specific changes. Vampire counts. Mortis engine abilities and buffs do not stack. Cool. Great.
Cool. That's the Renegades change, that one. So
yeah,
I'm assuming it means they're not using Renegades.
Screams limited to 3. I don't think this really changes anything, because you weren't running double Mortis engine uncomped in 1.5, realistically. And you weren't running Terrorgeists, because they're too easy to give up points. So it just stops you from doing abusive feeling lists, but I don't think it actually nerfs the strength of vampire counts. Again, I'm on board with it, but like I don't think it actually changes the list that people would bring. Unless I'm missing anything. Like, is there a way to bring a 4th Wailing Dirge that is worth doing? Can you think of one?
I mean, as I say, I think you either want the second Mortis engine, which I'm not 100% sure lots of people are using, or you start bringing Terrorgeist. I mean, I know there are lists going around that have multiple Terrorgeists, multiple Banshees, and Mortis engine in them to still kind of max out on that, but it's the sort of list where as soon as you come into an army like Cathay, it just dies immediately because 1 cannon kills a Terrorgeist. One cannon firing twice definitely kills a Terrorgeist because it doesn't get any saves other than the regen, and you get enough damage through quite easily with a couple of cannonballs. So I think into a strong meta, which obviously the Masters is, you're not going to see, well, you don't see I don't think any of the vampire count lists have got Terrorgeist in them. So
cool. Again, a change that I'm like, yeah, sure, but I don't think it makes any real difference. Cathay, either 1 character balloon or 2 max non-character balloons.
I like this one. This is a good one.
That's this feels about the level of what we should probably see with them. I'm really curious to see what we'll get from the actual FAQ changes, but this feels a lot more manageable. They've FAQ'd that the negative movement from the cannons doesn't stack, which most places agree. Like, rules is written, yes, it works. Do you really want to stop every infantry model in the game from moving? Probably not.
No.
That seems a little too much. Ring of Jet restricted to 1 only. Cool. Again, I'm expecting that to come in the FAQ. Ogre loaders are considered part of the cannon crew and die when the war machine dies if it is to shooting. In combat, attacks must be allocated. So instead of splitting the attacks between the ogre character and the cannon, instead all of the attacks still go on the cannon because you don't normally assign shots to crew, and then when it dies, it goes as well.
Yeah. I think this is how Games Workshop intended that to work. If I was thinking about their intent, I'm pretty confident that's what they were thinking. But it's just not very well specified in the actual rules, is it?
And then Brett's Green Knight can't charge on the turn he appears, which is like fair, but also, man, I probably would have played Brett's otherwise. I just really like playing Bretonnians. I think if you're playing into a high skill field, something like Bretonnians is probably your best angle to do well. It's a much higher risk reward plan than what I've gone with, but I feel like you're more likely to win. But I think the Green Knight is the way that I would have gone with the list if I was playing that. So without that, I'm not sold. I'm really interested to see what happens 1.5, like post 1.5. If Bretts don't get nerfed, I think they're gonna be in a pretty good spot if the shooting armies get a bonk. Pash says there's no point putting the ogre model on the table. Why am I painting it then?
You need it for combat.
Yeah, true. Cool. And then, so that was the FN, the Forgotten North Masters comp, and then there's the UK&I Chair additional comp, which is Undead don't get rerolls on their BSBs from, reroll leaderships from BSBs, which, cool. They suddenly become basically completely pointless, which, oh well. They're very, very strong giving those rerolls, so I'm not sad to see that go. And then also,
I'm a little bit sad.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not something that is at an event you're playing at, so you'll probably be fine. And then 0 to 3 limit on ethereal units, including units that can become ethereal in a Vampire Count's army. I feel like they could have just said max 0 to 3 on all ethereal units. I don't know what other armies
Anyone
could
else
have that. But yeah, just in case someone found some sort of ridiculous cheese. But yeah, so that just makes the field basically. This is about as friendly of a field as you're going to get, sort of army-wise, I think, post, like pre-FAQ, because the top stuff has all been knocked down a little bit of a peg. So
yeah,
interesting stuff there. All right. Well, let's look at some lists. We've got a few lists to go through. You wanted to look at some specific lists because you thought they were interesting.
My guy, that's 2 tourneys, 1 GT, with we. Ready to discuss we being good? Way stalkers and way watchers too.
I'm confused on the context there. Todd says, "You, my guy, that's 2 tourneys with. Well, are you ready to discuss Wood Elves being good?" Is that you're saying that you've done well with Wood Elves? Is that the context to that? I'm a little lost there, I'll be honest.
I think it means World Eaters.
Yeah. World Eaters.
You bring a load of Khorne Berserkers to the battlefields of the old world and they're going to do well.
Yeah, anytime I see World Eaters, I just remember whoever it was on stream that kept moving them about twice as far as they should do when they played.
Oh, yeah.
It was like every
that Berserker just moved 12 inches.
Yeah, but they played like 6 out of 7 games on stream or whatever it was. Anyway, we don't need to talk about 40k drama. That's in the past, he says, bringing it up at every opportunity. But cool. Oh, congrats, Todd. I have recently talked about Wood Elves on the channel. You may have seen. But I'm glad to hear that you've done well. Maybe I'll have a look later on. All right, so let's have a look at these lists. Do you want to start with Chris Cousins' list? Because this is one that you picked out as a Cathay list that doesn't have balloons.
Exactly. So I'm really scraping, not because of Chris, I'm really scraping the barrel here because my normal approach to reviewing lists for any event, whether it's a Saffron event or another one, is that I will scroll down and find the weirdest looking list possible, find someone that's doing something a bit mad.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, all of you Masters players have decided that you actually want to do well at this event, funnily enough, and you've all taken good stuff. So, well, maybe there's a Skaven player that I want to talk about as well, but so I can't find weird and wacky things throughout the lists. Other than the odd thing here. So I wanted to pick out Chris's list because it's a Cathay list that doesn't have a balloon in it. And that's about as weird as it gets through all the Masters lists. He's decided to fill the character 1,000 points of characters on the nose just with Shugengun generals on their little Great Spirit Longmas.
No. 2 Shugengun lords and 2 generals, you know. There's some variety in there.
I mean, they're pretty tasty. I mean, his general has got the new item, the Meteor Hammer, which is that AP3 hammer that always wounds on a 3, which is very nice. And he's given himself Lore Familiar and Illusion. So I have a feeling at a level 3 that's going to be going for... I've forgotten the name of the spell. 2d6 automatic hits, that one.
Spectral Doppelganger.
Spectral Doppelganger, that's the Badger. Going straight in for that, I imagine, because that'll hit like a truck. Then the second one, also very much on the I'm going to hit you hard in the face with a big hammer, which is his general with the Monkey King's Wisdom, which is the Strength 10 AP4 damage club. Also running Illusion, level 2, so I guess he's just going to have to roll up to see if he gets Spectral Doppelganger. But even if he doesn't get that, he's got the Vermilion Quills, which once per game, he's going to be able to jump into a combat and get rerolls on everything in that combat, which would be quite nice. So even if he doesn't get the spell off, he can at least do a heinous amount of damage. And then the last two are back to level 1s. They've both got battle magic, and he's given one of them the Maw Shard, so I'm assuming that'll be front and center to spread you miscast on any double goodness around the battlefield as much as possible.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, no balloons, but it doesn't really feel any less oppressive. But we are where we are. He's got
no. I've got to defend Chris here. It definitely does feel less oppressive because this is a melee list. So you know what you can do against melee lists? You can just position better. It's hard to position better against a shooting large target. So this is an army that it takes a lot more skill to play, and you have to be more skilled to play against. But I like it.
No, absolutely. 2 blocks of Jade Warriors to follow in core, which I like. Do love seeing the Jade Warriors. 2 different banners. One of them's got the Heavenly Furies, so it can switch off fly once per game, which is always useful.
Yep.
And he has got the Jade banner as well, which is the +2 combat res on the slightly bigger unit, which is good, given that bigger unit drilled as well. And he rounds out the core with the Jade Lancers. They're the ambushing ones with the Alchemist Mask, which allows the officer, the champion in the Jade Lancers unit, to cast a Plague of Rust. So that'll be popping
at bound
behind
spell
you
power level 3. To be clear,
that's insane.
Which is interesting because I'm not actually sure that this list really needs Plague of Rust. Don't get me wrong, it's just good. Like, having it in makes sense. Like, I can see the value of doing that. But it's interesting that he's gone for it instead of like the magic missile ring, the Ring of Jet, because he could have just put that in and done some direct damage, whereas a lot of his stuff already has pretty good AP. Like, both of the Shigangan Lords have AP 3 or
AP3 and AP4,
which is definitely doesn't need Plague of Rust. So maybe it's just to try and get the Jade Lancers to do something, but he's even named them Jade.
Yeah, it could be, because the Jade Lancers is a unit of 5, so there's not many. I wonder if it's for the Jade Warriors, that unit with the Jade banner for the extra combat res. Okay, they're just running their hand weapons, but effectively that makes the hand weapons AP2, right? So I don't know whether it's them.
No. All right. What else has he got?
2 Grand Cannons, obviously. Doesn't have the third, which is nice. Both with Ogre Loaders, as you'd expect. Yep. And then something that I'm seeing in lots of Cathay lists is just the bonus Demigryphs at the end with the Charm Shield. I must admit, I don't know what this is adding to the Cathay list.
It's interesting. Twice Blessed Armor is Hammerhand. So it's like a cheap, punchy 360-degree fighting character, I guess. I almost wonder if it would have been better to go with a Pegasus. I know that you lose all of the output of the Demigryph, and the output of the Demigryph is pretty nice, but it gives you fly and much further range, so maybe the Pegasus character would have more play there, but I'm interested to see what he pulls off with it.
Can it join the Lancers?
Ooh.
And if it could join the Lancers, that means they can't ambush?
So I guess he's not putting them in there, or he could like flex put it in there.
Yeah.
Or he could put it in with Jade Warriors, but then it would be able to be shot because it's a different unit type. Yeah. Interesting. I still think I'd rather have the Pegasus. I've seen some nasty Pegasus plays with Empire / Jade Lance generally. Ash says it's not joining Lancers. Yeah, it's just there for I guess being a 360-degree charger. It's a 5th threat in a list which has got 2 Shigangan Lords, 2 Shigangan Generals, and then we've got the
plus the cannons
Demigryph as well.
I'm just seeing it in several Cathay lists. So there must be a Cathay conversation that I'm not seeing that has these guys in.
I've been zoned out about Cathay conversation because more expensive but slightly better shot attack. Fair enough. It gives first charge. It does bring first charge. I like that actually. Yeah. I've been looking at various different ways to put first charge in lists now. I'm expecting to see more infantry pre-1, post FAQ. So we'll see. But interesting list. I like it. This is going to be still disgusting to play on the table, and I mean that as a compliment. It'll be a good list, but it's cool to see. Like, if Chris had just not taken the Demigryph and had shaved a few points from core, he could have put a balloon in, which probably would have been better.
Maybe better, or another cannon.
I know the list isn't leaning around the shooting, but the shooting is just so good that 165 points to stick that in would work pretty well.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a plan for Demigryph that we'll find out.
I'm sure. Yeah, no, I'm sure it's good. But yeah, cool. So that is the first list there. I want to talk about Mark Wilcox's list because Mark is playing Dark Elves, and I'm a big fan of Dark Elves. And Mark's made some interesting choices that I'm pretty keen to see. So we've got a Dreadlord on a dragon. This is standard, but there's only one dragon, and it's got the dragon slaying sword. I'm not sold on this. I have seen it at a tournament, and it didn't do very much. But, sometimes you roll goodly. I will say...
How many attacks does the Dreadlord have?
4.
Weapon
skill,
that's always
7.
a problem.
So, if we just look at the armies that are coming, there's probably not that many dragons. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot. I think there might be a couple of bone dragons.
A couple of Miao Yings, a couple of bone dragons. There is 1 or 2 chaos lists that have double dragon. The high elves, the 2 high elf lists have got dragons.
Maybe a quarter of the lists will have monsters. That might be the expectation there. But yeah, interesting. They will. I mean, to be honest, the rider on top is usually just there for the ward save and the defensive profile. But I think I'd prefer to see the Penitent Caleth. However, I am super jazzed to see Dark Elves, so I'm keen to see how this list does. Hopefully well. There's a master with the BSB Razor Standard Life Taker, which is a magic repeater crossbow, and then the Pearl of Infinite Bleakness. That I'm not going to lie to you, I can't remember what that does, which maybe isn't too...
Infinite Bleakness.
Yeah, that's maybe not too fortuitous for the item. If I can't remember what it is, it's probably not any good. Oh, immune to psychology. Okay. So this is obviously going to go with the big unit of shades. So they're going to have Razor Standard for the extra AP. Okay. I think I would prefer not to be immune to psychology because you've got good leadership across the board and it's a BSB, so you could reroll the panic tests. But being immune to psychology just means that you can't flee. However, maybe it's just we're going to stand still and then we'll move when you're dead. I do respect that. There's a Supreme Sorceress to back that up as well with the Lore Familiar and Power Scroll Elementalism, so looking to Plague of Rust there. Interestingly, also with the Pendant of Caleth, so the Supreme Sorceress getting a little bit of defense. But I'm assuming it's going to be joining some of the Dark Riders, so I think it probably could have done without that ward save and not been too worried. 3 units of Dark Riders, just the classic Dark Elf core. 2 of them with Fire and Flee, Scouts, and... interesting. Standard Bearer Musician, but no unit champions. And then the 3rd unit is no upgrades other than the repeater crossbow and shield. The 2 Scourge Runner Chariots, which have got their own little bolt thrower, and are just generally, think Tyrannot Chariots, but a little bit less terrible. And there's a big brick of 20 Dark Elf Shades with great weapons, and they come with the repeater crossbows as well. A unit champion with the Guiding Eye, which is a once per game. The entire unit gets to reroll all of their hit rolls for a turn.
Nice.
Which is not bad. There's 40 shots in there. They start up list, it's still 5. I've been underwhelmed by shade shooting, but I will say I never went this big. Like, this is a big unit that is shooting, so maybe it's got enough juice to get there. But I, as a Dark Elf fan, I am keen for this list to do well.
I want it to do well. Where does the damage come from in this list?
Yes. That is the question, because I find that repeater crossbows are very much like las guns for anyone who played 40k, which is you roll a lot of dice and you don't remove a lot of
They do chip damage.
Sometimes they kill stuff. There's a lot of modifiers in Old World, man. Like, I have been underwhelmed by the shooting, especially on the Dark Riders who want to move. But I'd love to be proved wrong by this. That would be absolutely fantastic. I'd be very pleased. I would not be mad at losing to this list because, like, hey, you've brought 20 shades and you're just going to shoot me to death. Yeah. All right, cool. Congratulations. Like, I can't be mad at that.
And at some point, over the weekend he's going to roll a 6 on that Dragon's Lane sword, and then he's going to send you a message that says "fuck you, Ed, it worked."
Maybe. I mean, he won't need to send me a message because he'll just win the event. That's how it goes, and he can tell me in person. Cool. You want to talk about Nick's list as well?
Hell yes, we want to talk about Nick Boucher because he is very nice to me and comes to lots of my Saffron Slam events. Tickets are available for the February event. We're up to 24 players now. It's very exciting. We're going to be big style.
Big style.
Big style. Google Saffron Slam and do come along. Be great to host you. We're in the town hall. Ed will be streaming.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing and streaming the event. And it's just, as a run into this, I was like, oh, how am I going to get my PC there? It's going to be a real pain in the backside. I was like, I'm probably going to have to rent a car. I only passed my driving test last year because I haven't really seen a need to drive. I've always just walked to wherever I needed to go. And then last year I was like, I need to get this done. So I've passed my test, but I've never driven on a motorway. So I was like, then I'm probably going to have to, I'd like to do Pass Plus or something just as a, make sure that I'm not going to accidentally kill myself because I want to get to a Warhammer event on time. And then I was like, wait. I've got a mate who's, I've been trying to get him to go to an event, and he's been running up to, he was going to go to one of the TSM events, but then the timings didn't quite work out. I was like, oh, Craig, why don't you come to the Saffron Slam? So I've got a chauffeur, which is incredible.
Chauffeur?
Yeah.
And I'm middle class.
Craig's my best mate. I picked him up at a tournament back in the 40k days. I've mentioned this before on stream, I'm sure. But we used to go to a lot of 40k events together, so it'll be nice to have the road trip down to Saffron Walden. Just chat shit for 3 hours in the car and then go and play some Warhammer. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hell yeah, sounds good. But yes, do come along, everybody. I do tickets for one
not
day.
Everybody. People specifically who have
bought
tickets.
Yeah, please buy a ticket first. It's really inconvenient to run an event without people having bought tickets. But you can have a ticket for 1 day or 2 days, depending on your preference. I know some people prefer just a 1 day event, and I'm happy to oblige. So that would be great to see lots of people there. We already have a lot of people, but it'd be great to have even more people. But yes, so Nick's Beastman.
Sorry, I've just seen Goldfire's comment in chat. He says, Ed is bringing snacks. I'd forgotten. So Goldfire, there was a discussion about licorice in the VIP section. And
I don't understand this.
Well, I don't know if it's specific to Denmark, but I know that area of the world are quite keen on licorice. It's something that has come up before. I've heard before. And Goldfire said, "Oh, I'll send you some to try." And I was like, "I don't like it, but I'm willing to volunteer Lewis's taste buds for this." And then I was like, "Well, that's rude, so I will also try it." But I think we might be trying some very fancy and probably nice, if you like it, Danish licorice on stream at Saffron Walden. So that might be something that we do maybe not between rounds, or maybe between rounds. Who can say?
Do it one of the lunch times.
We'll do it on camera, and we'll not pretend to enjoy it, but you will enjoy our suffering.
He messaged me on Discord, and I have explained to him that I really hate licorice.
Excellent. Well, we're both going to try it on camera, and there's 12 different flavors.
So settle in, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I won't do it live. Maybe
you want me to run a tournament. I'm going to be
just
too busy on stream eating licorice instead of doing pairings.
Maybe we'll do it on Friday night and not stream it, but just record it for the sick pleasure of those involved.
I've never been sick on the telly before, Ed. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, there we go. Let's move away from the dangerous area that I've just segged us into and talk about Nick's list.
Yes, Nick. He's Brother the Beastman. He has got the classic Beast Lord, Slug Skin for the -1 to hit, the Black Maul for all of those extra attacks at AP -3, unless you roll a 1 or a 6, whichever one it is. So a real 6. Combat monster there. 6.
Yeah, if you roll a 6, you lose a point of weapon skill.
Though, don't you?
You keep the attacks. Yeah, you just go down in weapon skill. But you start at 6. So going down to 5 is offensively, it's not really much of a downside.
No.
Yeah, and you roll under Gaze of the Gods table anyway. So
it might go back up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. So yeah, I like it. It's a good little combo. Then he's got his 3 wizards, which seems classic in lots of the Beastman lists. So 2 level 2s, both for demonology, and 1 level 4. The level 4 obviously has the Hag Tree fetish for all those lovely wound re-rolls that we all like from that stupid spell.
Yep.
And he has the Chalice of Dark Rain, which is not an item I've come across up until now.
It's really
maybe
good.
because I play a lot of vampires who don't have any missile weapons. But
Yes.
it halves once per game. You half missile weapon range, and you stop all war machines from shooting.
Yep. I decided not to take it in my list because I thought there's going to be less war machine shooting given the like specific comp of this event. So
Yeah.
I'm just not going to find the points for it because it's really good, but it's 50 points, which is
It's a lot.
It's a big chunk of change.
Yeah, but I mean, say take the Cathay matchup for example, where they can fire 6 cannonballs at you at the first turn. You could just be like, "Nope, I'm having."
As long as you go first. What if
Yeah.
they go first and snipe your chances?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really good into shooting lists, really good into war machines. So it's a good pickup for sure.
Yeah, or you potentially like force the Cathay player to have to fire all 6 cannonballs at you at the start.
True.
That may not be ideal for where you've positioned, so because they're the threat of you just being able to switch it off at some point later in the game is just there for them. So yeah, so I like it. That's cool. I don't think I've seen that too often, so I like that item a lot. He's then got Wargore with the BSB. He's got the banner that gives out poison, which is tasty. So I'm assuming that's then going to go in the big block of 44 gore. They have the Monster Hunter's Tapestry, which allows them to dodge stomps from those behemoths, which is always good to have. Very much swings the challenge, as I'm assuming if he sticks to Beast Lord in that big unit, you could feel relatively confident accepting a challenge from a dragon.
Because you've got a 2-up armor save and a 5-up ward, so you're
Yeah.
not going to take that many wounds, especially without the stomps. What I will say is Vitriolic Totem feels like an odd choice to me, because
Right.
poison attacks don't work with magic weapons. And you don't really get that many gore attacks, because often you're going to be charged. So you're
Yeah.
losing the models around the characters. So it's an interesting choice. I think there's a lot of really good banners to go for, and I'm not. I'm gonna chat to Nick about that because I'm sure there's a reason that he's gone for it, but I'm not seeing that as like the best use case for your banner.
Yeah. What other banner would you put on instead?
There's loads of them. I went with the Beast banner, the one that gives you an additional 3-inch declarable charge and the extra D3 actual charge roll. I think that's really good. Or Banner of Swirling Wind for -1 to be shot. I think there's a few on there that you could be like, oh, this actually adds quite a lot.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Sorry, this is just a funny question that I enjoy the answer to. Matthew James says, "How does the Hag Tree fetish interact with the Armor of Ages?" This is the armor that's specifically for Tomb Kings, where any successful rolls have to be re-rolled. The answer is you re-roll all of the dice. So you pick up, let's say, 21 dice, you roll them, you're like, okay, there's some 6s in there, I don't care. Every die gets picked up, we ignore the first set of results, everything is re-rolled. Is that dumb? Really, really dumb. Is it funny? Yeah, it's pretty funny. So it basically just removes the effect of the re-rolls. In effect, it's like you just rolled once and you don't get any bonus, but yeah.
But you'd hope anyone with that interaction is rolling the first set of dice completely and then re-rolling the whole.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I thought about this when I was playing Beastman. I was like, do I just, if it comes up, do I ask my opponent if I can just roll once? But then it like opens you up to being like, oh, I rolled once and I got really good rolls, and my opponent's like, oh, well, you should re-roll that because it's not the first lot, or vice versa if someone's unscrupulous.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's just roll them all. I've never had to do it, but I have thought about it.
Yeah. I think that's definitely on the list of wargaming etiquette that you should agree before the game begins how that interaction is going to operate, so you don't have to make the decision once it's got anything weighing on it. But yes, that's cool. I like that. So then 20 ambushing warherds, primal warherds, then some razor gore, 2 sets of 10 ungore.
With the free ambush on there.
With the ambush, yep. So they're popping up left, right, and centre. So that's 40 guys somewhere appearing behind you.
Right.
Then the Dragon Ogre Shartak with the blackened plate for the 3+ ward versus flaming. How Yeah, no, I like it. It's up there with the Demigriff question from the cafe. I'm always
I'm not a fan of the
sure what
shard
he's
tech.
adding.
Yeah, like pre 1.5, when people were playing like more MSU cavalry units and stuff, I found a lot of value in it. I don't like it post 1.5. Like, it's not bad, but I will spend 95 points on other things. Like, you can get a lot of stuff in Beastman for 95 points. That's almost 2 Razorgore. I'd rather have 2 more Razorgore. You know, if I can find the 9 points for 2 more Razorgore, I'd rather have that.
Yeah, even though one of them is your favourite child.
One of them's my least favourite child.
Least favourite child, sorry.
Yeah, and they will not be coming with me to the Masters. Piggly will be coming with me to the Masters because Piggly is a good boy.
And then let's finish this. Two sets of 5 harpies and the obligatory herdstone to finish this off.
Harpies.
Good luck.
I like harpies. I would like the harpies if they were bigger. I think like 7 or so. Because right now, the second they take any wounds, they lose a lot of efficiency in terms of output, but they didn't have that much output anyway. But mostly they just don't. They're not able to go and deal with the baggage train. I know he's got a lot of skirmish, not skirmish, a lot of ambush, but he's playing against the best players in the country. They're probably going to be able to zone out the back lines. That would be my expectation.
7 months?
Yeah.
How?
Thanks, Doug.
It was weird. I played a game at the TSN against Ian in the final round with his ambushing Tomb Kings units. I found myself using my Bretonnian Presence to screen. And I was like, I've not screened what is effectively the 40k equivalent of a deep strike in ages. I was like, this is weird. And I was like, I'm actually screening Ian out. And he was like,
why?
I can't deploy anywhere near your army. I was like, yes, Ian, I've just applied some 40k tactics to Old World for a moment there. Forgive me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you as well. So actually, one of my 40k compatriots has messaged me about doing a series which is the 40k to Old World pipeline. So the development from, being a recovered bad person, he says tongue in cheek, and becoming an Old World player. So that's something to look forward to at some point over the coming months. But screening out the back line is important to get ambushes. Now we've got baggage trains that we care about. That's something that we need to keep in mind. All right. Yeah. So very quickly, I'm gonna look at my list. I don't think my list is particularly it's not mind blowing or super exciting. I've just made a lot of the same choices, a couple of differences. So in terms of what I've gone for, I've got the same Beast Lord who's got the Black Maul, full plate, Chaos Armor, Slug Skin, Gnarled Hide, -1 to hit the whole unit. I've got a 2-up save and a 5-up ward. It's pretty solid. I really like the Bray Shaman with the Black Maul because you start at weapon skill 5, you start at strength 4, you get those extra attacks, it feels pretty good. But I knew there were going to be a lot of undead here, and I was like, I feel like the Beast Lords needed to have a chance at really grinding through those undead armies.
Yeah.
I went for the level 4 Hagtree Fetish for the rerolls, Heavy Chaos Armor, Flying Carpet, Power Scroll with Uncanny Senses, Law of Primal Magic. This is I really like this in terms of if you're bringing a Hagtree Fetish caster, I don't think you want to put them in the big brick of Gore, because the Gore want to end up in combat if they can. Like, that's ideal. There's a lot of combat punch in there. Yeah. By having him on a Flying Carpet, I'm not reliant on Steed of Shadows. I can be solo. I'm relatively tanky, T5 with 3 wounds, a 5-up save and a 5-up ward. I've got the Power Scroll, so even though I'm in Wild Herd, I'm not always going to be near like the Herdstone or the other casters, so getting that additional magic missile through on, say, a Warpfire Dragon with magic resist is very important. And Uncanny Senses for the +1 to initiative is really nice, because if you get overrun... Tongue says, why Uncanny Senses on him isn't the evasive thing going to be really, really rare? It's 10 points, and it comes up surprisingly often. I expect it'll come up once or twice over the course of the event, and basically, for anyone who doesn't know, evade is a rule where if you are going to be overrun into... Steve says, leave my Warpy alone. If we don't play, then you Warpfire Dragons on my honor. If we don't play, I won't kill it. That's just fair plays, So, I think, because I'm going to be playing against good players who are looking for angles, I don't mean like angle shooting, but they're going to be looking to try and get good overruns. If they manage to set something up, these are good players. Having a backup there for 10 points just helped me get out of there. is pretty snazzy. Pash says it's a scary list. If only it was fielded by someone who
It was
knew what they were
fielded-
doing. We should swap lists, Pash, and then we could just both bumble
Sue
through.
does better.
Yeah. See who does worse. I've gone for level 2 Lore Familiar Power Scroll Pelt of Midnight Demonology. This is to go Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel. It means I can march my unit 24 inches. I get the extra strength and AP and attacks off from Demonic Vessel. Power Scroll, because again, you're not always going to be near other casters, and sometimes you just need that Steed of Shadows, even though the risk of the miscast is bad. And then Pelt of Midnight for -1 to be shot. Just solid. You know, I haven't managed to fit a Wargore in here for the BSB, so this is just a way of fitting -1 to be shot in there. And then double ambushing level 1s, with one with Jagged Dagger and one with Ruby Ring of Ruin. They are primal magic because I wanted to have backup in case I had to play against specifically Orcs and Goblins with loads of Fanatics, because their signature spell puts down difficult ground, dangerous terrain, whatever it is. So you can just make it so they can't put any Fanatics out on the board. And you go like, oh, I'll only have 1 or 2 Vile Tides, but instead you have areas of no-go. Sucks to be you.
Yeah.
That felt like
that spell broke my friend Ben, one of our Saffron Slammers. He's relatively new, plays Orcs and Goblins, loves his Fanatics, played up against at the TSN a Beastman player who took all of that spell instead of the damage one, and basically killed all of his Fanatics almost instantly. And Ben was very sad. And now he realised that spell exists.
It's a pretty good spell. There's no Orcs and Goblins at Masters, though, so didn't need it. But I didn't know that beforehand. One's Jagged Dagger for the +1 to cast if you sacrifice a model. One's Ruby Ring of Ruin. So this is just bringing as much concentrated magic missile output in a short space that can come in with one of the ambushing units if it wants to.
Yeah.
Primal Warhead, no real upgrades other than full command and a great weapon, because I hate them. They're impetuous. They're my least favourite gore. I have some of my favourite gore, which is 38 in a big unit. They've got Scourge of the Burden for the reserve move and the Beast Banner for the aforementioned. They get to charge further. Single Razor Gore, Piggly, 2 units of Ungore, 1 with ambushes.
You haven't named him on the list. You've just said 1 Razor Gore herd.
Yeah.
He has a name.
I like my lists to be legible as possible. I am anti putting names on lists. It's not deep. Like, I'm not going to lose my mind if people do it, but I prefer things to be just readable. Like, you see it and you know exactly what it is.
You won't like the Good Doctor's list then.
I've seen how he formats his list before. Loads of people do it. I'm not specifically saying that you shouldn't do it, but I don't like it.
You should at least put Piggly on there, which I'm going to start a campaign. Everyone vote in the chat. Should Piggly be on the list?
Anyway, we're going to move on because I don't care. Units of Ungor, both of them skirmish, a Herdstone, and then I went for 3 Dragon Ogres, because if you're going for Undead, it's something that gives you points to grind around there. Yeah. Perfect. Jobs are good. Excellent. And that's my list. So we're going to look at the top 7 lists, and I don't want to spend too long on these. Again, I've already shouted out Pash, even though he doesn't deserve it, and Forgotten North, who do deserve it. If you want deep dives into all of the lists, they've done videos on both of them. Or both of them have done videos, I should say. So, but we're just going to look at the list from top 7. I'm very sorry to the number 8th player in the country. I stopped at number 7 because that's where we started getting duplicate factions. There is a duplicate in here already, but like number 1, number 3, you can't really cut one of those out. So we just gotta put up with them. So let's look through these. First of all, at number 7. Oh, maybe I did bring up number 8. Hold on. If I brought up number 8, if it's on the screen now, we're going to talk about it because it'd be rude not to. Let me just double check here. All right, Mark, who's currently number 9, but the 8th list because Liam's not in attendance. He's gone for Double Dragon with regen, Warriors of Chaos. This is, you look at the build, you're like, well, there's a Brazen Collar for magic resist. There's a regen item there. There's Favor of the Gods, and there's a great weapon. Excellent. This is a well set up dragon. No Marks of Nurgle, which I honestly don't care too much about. Like, I think the Mark of Nurgle's good, but it doesn't feel like you get into slap fights with Lords on Dragons against other dragons all that much anymore. And things are probably not killing you due to the actual damage output. They're probably killing you due to combat res. So I don't mind saving the 20 points in the list there. Double Chaos Knights, Mark of Khorne with Unit Champion and Standard Bearer with Brazen Collar. Now, I feel like if you're going Mark of Khorne which I'm not a fan of because Frenzy is too easy to bait. Even though he has got some screening units, I don't think you take standards, because the standard, it's extra 50 points when you inevitably die in combat. So I feel like I would have left the standards at home, but these are very punchy units and they're going to be able to crunch through a good amount of things. 3 units of 5 Marauder Horsemen with horsemen with flails. 2 of them are skirmish because it's changed now. You can only have 0 to 1 per 1,000 points. All of them are Cult of the Carrion Crow. For the leadership test, if passed, they get +1 to their toughness for a turn, and they have a natural fortitude. So they're T4, but he hasn't given them... Oh no, they come with light armor shields default now, don't they, the horsemen? It's still going to take me a while to wrap my head around that. But T5 for a key turn on the horseman is pretty nice. I do like that. And finally, a unit of 7 Chosen Knights, Lancers, drilled, Mark of Khorne, Brazen Collar, and then again, champion in 7. Yeah, this is a full send list. This is a I want to table people, and we'll see. But yeah,
This goes really well or really badly. Oh, actually, to be fair, I mean, you lose 1,000 points to your army, you still got 2 dragons flying around, so...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a real threat overload list. It doesn't align with my playstyle, but I respect it. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays into really, really good players, because those are the players that I'd expect to be able to frenzy bait and do other bits and pieces. Any thoughts about this, or should we just move?
Oh, I like it. Yeah. I mean, just throw Mark of Khorne in. I think all the dragons should have it as well.
But, yeah, I was going to say they've got Impetuous, so like screw it. At this point, just give them the full shebang. All right, cool. So number 7, where I thought I was starting, Tom's list. Tom is playing Chaos Dwarves, which is fun, and Tom has got big T7 energy. Double Iron Demon with the Hellbound upgrade gives you a 6-up ward save against non-magical attacks. Gives you a reroll of a single artillery die once per game. The cost to that is when you misfire, I think it's like -1 to your roll, or you roll twice and take the worst roll, something like that. Joke's on you, they don't misfire. They just lose a wound if they roll double misfire on their dice. So amazing. That's pretty good there. We've got
rules right there. Well done, Games Workshop.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a Castellan and a Seneschal. The Castellan's not... Oh, I misread that. Okay. Never mind, we've got 3 T7. So we've got the Seneschal, who's also on foot. Oh, this is really different to what I thought it was. Okay, I saw Mantle of Stone, and my brain filled in that they were riding monsters. Okay,
yeah.
So the General is on a flying carpet. It's T6. It's got the Ironhide Talisman to be immune to multiple wounds. It's got great weapon, heavy armor, shield. Okay, sure, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Then there's the Seneschal, who's the BSB, on foot, charm, shield, mantle of stone. That's just to be tougher inside the unit of Infernal Guard.
Yeah. What does the Lamasu's beard do?
Lamasu's beard. That is the it's a 6-up ward save and magic resist 1 against everything, and against shooting specifically, it's a 5-up ward save and magic resist 2. So it's basically the inverse of the dwarf one, where it's less good at defending you in combat, but it's better at shielding your entire army against magic missiles and all that jazz. Nice. Yeah, no, I really misread this one. Okay, this is interesting. There's a level 1 wizard with the Staff of Quietude, dark magic. So interesting. I'm looking forward to talking to Tom about this list. I think there's some really interesting choices in here. And then we've got the Infernal Guard with drilled as well, which makes sense. But yeah,
got the War Boss on the Wyvern as well.
I like that level 1 wizard could be a level 2 demonology wizard for Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel. I'm interested as to why he's not gone down that route. I guess he's just taken it as magic defense, but yeah, I think that's interesting. And then there's a unit of Hobgoblin Cutthroats and a single unit of 5 Black Orcs with full plate and 3 shields, just to because legally they have to be there because the Black Orc War Boss, who's there with the 3-up save, 5-up ward, 5-up regen, pretty beefy.
Yeah,
it's a
sitting on his Wyvern, flying around.
But yeah, I think this is a really interesting list. That Castellan's thrown me off. When I very quickly skimmed these earlier, I filed it away as I know what this list does. There are 4 T7 models, and then there's also, like a unit of Infernal Guard. And I've realised now that skimming it was not what I needed to do. FK Hendy says, Ironhide Talisman is reroll 6s to wound, so anything strength 4 or less will have a hard time wounding him. Oh! How have I got that wrong? Ironhide Talisman. Yeah. Shooting or combat, we must reroll any wounds to 6. Okay, yeah, no, that is better. Good point. Good catch there. Thank you. I'm thinking of the whatever the other one is. I've forgotten the name of it. Icon of Fortitude? Icon of Fortitude. Very cool. I guess that one
Sure.
escapes attention because it's infantry only, and you don't really have much in the way of infantry that wants to be out there on its own. But yeah, this is a good use case for it. What do you think?
I like it. As I say, the fact that it's completely thrown you, I think, is an interesting way of going about it, because I don't think there'll be that many people expecting it. And then the minute you start throwing uncertainty at people, gives you an edge. I think when they're not 100% sure how you're going to be playing that army, that's difficult in the current meta, where actually a lot of the top factions, at least, pretty well nailed down how the Cathay player is going to play, how the Vampire Count player is going to play, and it's just how do you play around it. Whereas this, you can approach the table and you go, actually, I'm not entirely sure how he's going to play this, which I think gives you an edge. I think
It
so.
definitely
I like
does.
it.
Steve says it's good protection versus the worms. I don't
Who's got
understand at all.
Steve's
Maybe
got
the worms that he's cleaned out of your carpet earlier today. That might be it. But yeah, okay, cool. Tom's a very good Chaos Dwarf player. He does very well with them, so he'll be an interesting one to follow. Then we've got Papatol's really, really, really innovative and new Chaos Army. That's 3 reallys, so you know that it is pretty new.
It's really innovative.
Yeah, so this is more what I would look for if I was going to do Mark of Khorne characters, knights, which is minimum just 4 models with lances and then the champions as well. Just keeping them cheap. They've got 9 attacks there for a very small footprint. I like this, and if they run off, you're like, oh no, too bad, so sad. I lost 130 points. There's double dragon, Chaos Lord with Mark of Tzeentch, single favourite of the gods, flail and shield, because points are capped. And then there's also the Sorcerer Lord, who's actually T5, as Steve is well aware of. Mark of Tzeentch, Chaos Dragon, level 3 Demonology, 2 favourites of the gods. So you ideally want to be getting the good spells in Demonology, Demonic Vessel, Demonic Vigor, and just turbocharging it while still having some magic defense there. We've got Sneaky Lads, which are Marauder Horsemen, Cav Spears with ambushes.
You love the name. Stop it.
Well, no, honestly, that was me talking, my brain breaking, and reading that as if that's a unit, and then having to adapt on the fly. So he's got units and
We're not
Marauder
talking about
Horsemen.
Hobgoblins now. We're on Chaos Warriors.
Exactly, yeah. Again, with Unnatural Fortitude. People liking those T4 Marauder Horsemen. I think T4 Horsemen are great. I think it's 2 points per model. I'm going to pay that for the Marauder Horseman. That feels very solid. Burning Glade in there because there's some PTSD, I'm sure, of having to play against Charlie. So making sure there's some protection against the inevitable Banshees. And then finally, we've got a Warpfire Dragon. Not a level 1 Warpfire Dragon, which is what you normally see, but he's got an actual wizard on a dragon. So I guess it's less important. I'd still want to see a level 1. Make it, battle magic and just roll Oaken Shield every game. Then, then it suddenly becomes incredible. Any thoughts on the really, really, really innovative and new Chaos Army?
No, exactly. And I would like to see a Warpfire Dragon with a flaming sword to see how that would work.
It wouldn't.
You should model your Warpfire Dragon to have a flaming sword.
It does have magical attacks, though, just not flaming attacks.
Yes.
Then we've got my round 1 opponent, Scott Reed. And Scott has got the least fun list in existence. I respect it, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. Yeah. So, there are 2 skeleton infantry cohorts. And skeletons, or like Royal Host, is the only army that can still do the poison marching bricks, where they walk around and they shoot you because they can always volley fire. Yay, he said, not at all sarcastically. They're also immune to hit penalties, yada yada, so this is just going to be... it's going to be great. There are 2 bricks of skeletons. One of them 69, one of them 72, and one of them's got anti-stomp in there, and they both have Nicarian flank, so if they win or lose combat, as long as they're not double outnumbered, they don't give ground, they just stand still, because why would you allow your opponent to ever escape from your loving embrace? Then we've got the Unit 69, which has got the Icon of the Sacred Eye and the Amulet of the Serpent. Poison shots on there. There is a single chariot named Dave, which is, I'm assuming there as additional wounds for the Royal Herald on the skeleton chariot with a great weapon, armor of meteoric eye, and talisman protection. So this thing can just run around as like a unit of 2, but with some actual punch. And then other than that, all of the characters are just going to go into the unit. So there's a Tomb Prince, with Great Weapon. List check, excuse me. My opponent has put an illegal unit in their list. A Tomb Princess doesn't exist. I would like them to resubmit their list and make it more clear. They've got a Great Weapon.
That's not good.
Got a Tomb King with the Language of the Priest, making them a wizard, so they can also res. And be the Hierophant, Great Weapon, Bedazzling Helm, Charm Shield. Just hard to kill. There's a couple of Royal Heralds that'll go in the units as well to back them up. So soaking up the wounds there as needed. One of them's the BSB with the Banner of the Desert Winds, which is the banner where you can make a pivot at any point during your move. No, wait, hold on. Banner of the Desert Winds is reserve move. I'm thinking of Icon of the Path, which is not in this list. So that's fine.
Which I think would be the sort of the main reason you would still take a BSB in a Tomb King's list, wouldn't it, to get access to that? Because I don't think the skeletons can't take a banner of that value. I think off the top of my head,
I think the skeleton infantry cohort can. I'm pretty sure, but right. Yeah, I mean, it lets you double up. So Tomb Kings have some really nice banners, so I think there's value there. Also, Destroyer of Eternities for some nice sweep attacks, because just more output is good. And also triple level 1 Illusion Mortuary Priests. So 2 of them, I'm assuming 2 of them are going to go for Glittering Robes, and 1 of them is going to go for the reserve move spell for the other unit. And then it's just going to be, good luck. So this is what I'm playing against. It's going to be good.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, it's miserable. I've played against similar lists before. I played against Andy Oakham, who went to England playing Bretonians, but he was playing the big pie plate list where there was like 140 skeletons on one movement tray, and it was just the most boring game I've ever played of Warhammer. Like, don't get me, I respect the hustle. It's a good list, but it's just going to be very dull. That's the problem with this list. It is mind-numbing to play against.
You can kill a couple of skeletons. That'll get you 100 points. Chariot?
You think he's going to let me kill the skeleton skirmishers that are in ambush? You think he's just going to let me get them? You think a Team England player is going to just be like, oh, here's 100 points. I'm just going to hand them to you. I hope you have a great time. No, he's not going to do that, is he? He's going to play smart and have them somewhere, either coming in to try and get my baggage train if I'm an idiot, or if I'm not an idiot, in the back lines where I just can't interact with them because I've got to walk past. Checks notes, over 140 skeletons.
I don't like your defeatist attitude, Ed.
It's not defeatist, it's just realistic. I'm not saying that I think I'm going to lose. I'm just saying it's going to be very, very dull. Like, I hate this list. But don't hate the player, hate the game. Anyway, we're going to move on from Scott's war crimes, and we'll move on to one that you wanted to talk about, Jack's list, the Skaven.
Oh, it's going to be the Skaven. Hell yes. What an absolute legend bringing Skaven to the Masters. There's no Lizardmen, as far as I'm aware. I don't think it was in Lizardmen, so it's like the only bad legacy faction that is represented in the top 7, which is what we like to see.
Well, I mean, he's playing the Stormvermin Death Star. I'm not sure I'd call that bad.
Well, I mean, Skaven, just as a general rule, aren't amazing, are they?
Yeah.
But I think this is about as good as you're going to get with Skaven, I think. I don't think you can make it much better if you tried.
Sure.
Two Grey Seers, one's got Battle Magic. Yeah, well, both got Battle Magic. So, no, one's got Battle Magic, sorry. One with the Lore Familiar, and the other one's got Demonology with the Tome of Spellcraft for the re-rolls on the casting.
Sure.
A load of Warpstone tokens in there just to get high. 2 sets of Skaven Chieftains. One of them is the BSB, again with the banner I talked about earlier that stops you getting stomped on, which seems to be popping up left, right and centre, which we do like.
Yeah.
A couple of those Death Globes as well, throwing in there to chuck some grenades around.
They're very funny. I don't think they're good. They are very funny.
I don't think they're that expensive either, so just put them everywhere to see what happens. Throw enough templates, some of it will stick. Then he's got 2 Master Assassins, one of them with multiple Death Globes, the other one with the Headsman's Axe. So I'm assuming they're just going to go around trying to kill some characters, be all assassiny. Then, as you say, the aforementioned big unit of Storm Vermin, which seems to be the way of doing some damage. It's got the Banner of Vermin of Scurrying, which I think is my favourite banner, which is the one that gives him Swift Stride.
But I will say, he's got his banners the wrong way around.
Has he?
Yeah, he should put that on the BSB, because then if the BSB gets killed in combat, you're already there. You've got the extra, the Swift Stride to get you into combat.
Yeah.
You surely you want to keep the monster, like the anti-stomps banner, alive by putting that on the unit champion. Unless he's specifically worried about being able to run things down, and he's more happy to lose the anti-stomps. But I think with only 33 Storm Vermin, I'd rather just keep the defensive banner alive.
Is there a difference in the points? Has he got enough points left in characters?
Because
I think the Vermin Scurrying is slightly more expensive.
Yeah, I think he does. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like he's got about enough points.
He's pretty good. Okay, fine, fair enough. Not sure then. Bad Jack. Try better next time. Then he's got 2 sets of 20 clan rats with the rattling gun in both of them, and 2 sets of 5 gutter runners, again with death globes. So there'll be a lot of grenades being thrown across the board here. I do love a rattling gun as well. Can't go wrong with a rattling gun. Feels like it actually does a bit of damage on occasion. So yeah, I think, as I say, I think this is probably the meta Skaven list, if you can call it meta. And I'm hoping Jack, given he's made it into the top 7, is going to be a pretty damn good player, I imagine. So I don't think I've met him. So yeah, best of luck to him. I hope he goes and wins the thing.
Skaven winning the Masters would be very cool. Steve saying that the template doesn't follow the normal rules for templates, in that anyone who's under the base of the template takes the initiative test or loses the wound instead of having to be partially hit. I hadn't noticed that. That's pretty dumb. I'm still not 100% sold on it, but there's a lot of them in the list, to be fair. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of initiative tests. If there are any dwarves, which there aren't, that'll suck. But I guess this is a pretty interesting anti-undead list.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't like taking lots of initiative tests.
Ash says, I look forward to Ed playing this and failing his Death Globe test with his unnatural senses boosted shaman. Just rolling the 6 and losing a wound on it. Yeah, I think that will happen.
10 points!
Absolutely. All right, we're into the top 3 now. 2 of these are vampire counts. We're just going to do them together because there's some overlap here. We'll start off with Charlie's list. Charlie has definitely, in my mind, set the meta for what you expect to see with vampire counts. So he's gone for the Mortis Engine level 4 general. We've seen a lot less generals on a Mortis Engine in recent times because of the threat of Cathay shooting. But I guess you thought with the nerf to Cathay, that we probably, and the nerf to cannons as well, we probably wouldn't see too many cannons and you could get away with bringing it because it does still bring the 18-inch bubble. So you've got a lot of benefit there. This is the classic. You can res twice. You're level 4, so you're resing a lot of models. You've got Spell Familiar, so you know the 5th spell, Talisman of Protection. Cool. There's a Dark Magic level 3 caster with Power Scroll and Lore Familiar for Battle Lust and Word of Pain to make those Hex Wraiths really punch hard. A level 1 Acolyte with Illusion, double 2 Banshees. So, you'd expect to see those. There is still a BSB, a White Lord BSB, even though it doesn't give the rerolls. Interestingly, he's gone for the BSB with the Helm of Commandment to give the plus weapon skill to the Graveguard. Just very solid. But upgrading it to the BSB is the bit that I wasn't necessarily sure if people would go for, and he's gone for Monster Hunter Tapestry here. Just making sure to cut out the amount of things that can stomp those Graveguards to death. Makes a lot of sense to me. Speaking of, it's the classic unit of Graveguard, full command, Lodestone, Drakenhof Banner, so magic resist 1 and +1 to their regen. Only a single unit of zombies, keeping it a little bit cheap there. 1 unit of Fellbats, 7 Hex Wraiths, and then a unit of 4 Vargeist with a Vargoyle, so they're a frenzy flying unit, which with skirmish, so it's easy for them to get pulled around. But I've played against Charlie, and I've seen how he positions them, and he does, because obviously over half the unit has to be able to see a target to charge, so you can still actually screen the Vargeists against a lot of targets. So I'm interested to see how well he's going to get those things into combat. Basically they suck into large targets because you can just put them and then like, oh well, I have to charge into this dragon, for example, which is not a fight that they should win. But across the board, I think outside of large targets, they're solid. This looks good.
Yes, I say that I think the Vargeists jump out to me immediately as a question, but other than that, I think it's the pretty standard stuff. And as you say, with the change to BSB, could you just save however many points that is and spend it on something else? how
Well,
many
you
times
still
worry
want
about
it for the
I
Helm of
don't know.
Commandment is the thing. So I guess it's
Well, the
just
Helm of
going.
Commandment you would obviously keep. You don't need the BSB for that though. So
Sure, but you need to put it on a white.
yeah,
Or realistically, you're putting it on a white as the cheap character there.
yeah.
I can't remember if it has to go on a white or if it's just can go on like whites and vampires. I think it might be whites only. Anyway, so if you're taking that model already, I
You
guess
take the free BSB and then give it something that you find useful. Yeah, fair enough.
50 points for a magic banner and the +1 for combat res. Yeah.
Yeah. And interesting as well, the second necromancer who's taken the lore familiar. So this is the debate I always have with my second necromancer that I normally put on a horse to go with the blood knights. I tend to prefer blood knights to hex wraiths, and I'm never sure. Obviously, you want battle lust. You really want battle lust, but also you really want Van Hale's Dance Macabre for the extra movement and the weapon skill.
Sure.
Because that really helps as well. And so I've always erred on not giving it the lore familiar, taking the spell familiar so you get the extra spell, and rolling up 4 spells. And okay, 2/3 of the time you're going to get it, 2/3 of the time you're not going to get it, 1/3 of the time you're not going to get it, and taking that risk. But this obviously guarantees the battle lust, but guarantees you also can't have Van Hale's.
Well, he's got a third necromancer. He's got an acolyte as well, so he could just put it on there. He's got the flexibility, or if he wants glittering robes for whatever reason, he can go with that.
Yeah,
seems
it's interesting, and you wonder. So the hex race, obviously, for that to work, given the necromancer's just on foot, the hex race can have to keep pretty tight to the kind of block of Graveguard and the zombies. They're not going to be able to range far from the main battle line.
That's fine though, because that's how undead typically want to play. You want to keep within your area control and then move up together as one giant death ball. Cool. So that's Charlie's list, and then if we have a quick look at Keith's list as well. They're very similar. Also gone for the Necromancer General level 4. Spell Familiar Tome of Spellcraft for a reroll of a spell, which I quite like here. I think that's a good shout just for some increased reliability. Talisman of Protection. Not messing around and taking the ward save, the fort ward save that also gives you stupidity. Again,
I love the fort. Without the reroll, that's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Again, going for the level 3 Dark Magic Caster, Lore Familiar. This time going for a Ruby Ring of Rune. Just picking up, if you're worried about skirmishes, this is something that can help you deal with those, or just light units on the flanks. Again, level 1 Illusion Wizard, double 2 Banshee. So a lot of similarities here. Keith's gone for the Helm of Commandment White Lord, but hasn't gone for BSB. Just shave some points there. Again, we've got the same unit of Graveguard, 2 units of zombies here, Fellblats, Blood Knights, and Hex Wraiths. So the difference between the lists is really just one player's gone for Blood Knights, one player's gone for Vargheists, and the Vargheist player has a few more points and can also fit in the what do we call it? One less unit of zombies there, so you've got the upgrade for the battle standard power as well. Yeah, these 2 lists are very good, and it's 2 very good players. So the shout for one of them to be the person who wins the event overall, it's probably not a bad call. That it's likely going to be Keith or Charlie. It'd be interesting to see if they play early on. That could be an upset if they have to play in round 2 or earlier. No, not earlier, or round 2 or 3 is what I'm trying to say. And then finally, we've got some Cathay list, and he's named his units because, of course, he has. And he's gone with various rap references, a lot of Wu-Tang Clan in there, which that makes it more appreciable. I can maybe get behind it. But we've got, as you might expect to see, double Grand Cannon. We've got the Demigryph, as previously mentioned. We've got the 1 unit of warriors with the Icon of Heavenly Fury for the turn-off fly. We've got 2 Jade Lancers, both of them with one of the rings, Ruby Ring of Ruin and Ring of Jet for the magic missiles. So this is more what you'd see classically Jade Lancers be doing in the current game. And then again, we've got double General, 1 Lord, but this time it's backed up by a Sky Lantern. So this is very much like Chris's list, but I think just with a little bit more teeth, basically. So the Morshard Shigangan Lord has become a Morshard Lord Magistrate, with 10 wounds and the Jade Armor for the magic resist, the ward save. It's just pretty nasty because he's a bad man. He's only got 1 Spectral Doppelganger caster though, so there is something, and he's only got 4 spells, so there's a 1 in 3 chance to not get Spectral Doppelganger there, which is something. Best to less.
Don't like it.
Pasha's list building ability is as good as his spelling, for anyone in chat. Yeah, this looks solid. This could do well. I hope it doesn't. No hate to the list, all hate to the player. Unlike the opposite of Scott. In terms of pairings, I haven't really looked at who's playing other than me. But we've got Vampire Counts into Cathay, round 1. Good, they deserve each other for playing those two lists.
Embrace in a game of death.
Sam's playing Trace and Warhost, which I love. I'm a big fan of Trace and Warhost.
Yeah, good man,
he does
Sam.
well. But he is having to play into Keith on his Vampire Counts round 1, so good luck.
You'll
need it. It's a very hard matchup. Dark Elves into Tomb Kings. Interesting. We'll see how that goes. I believe there is a dragon in this list, though. Michael's got a dragon in there, so at least there's some.
Yes, the Dragon's Lane Sword.
We've got Jade Fleet into Wild Herd.
You do have to re-roll your 6. Though.
Yeah, this is upsetting because... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no dragon. When I last played Michael, he had a dragon in there, but not this time, so no use in the Dragon Slaying Sword. Pasha's going to learn how to beat... Yeah, Pasha's going to learn how to beat Wild Herd and then play me, so very upsetting that he gets a warm-up there. We've got Skaven into another Trace and Warhost, so just 2 absolute heroes, Either one of those winning is fine. Brett's into Jade Fleet, but it's Jade, it's Cathay without guns, so this is playable for the Exiles player. We've got Tomb Kings into Warriors of Chaos. That is fine. I'm not upset if either of those win, even if it is Steve. We've got Warriors of Chaos into Brett's. Again, I think this is like a solid clash of the mid-table armies, not necessarily mid-table players or this, but I'm not going to give you grief for playing Warriors of Chaos the way I will for playing Cathay. Chaos Dwarves into Hereditary Crusade, which is 2 armies a little off the beaten path. I like that. Obviously, Jack Allen, Nottingham local legend, always does something interesting with his lists. I've got to play into the fucking Royal Host, he says, full of bitterness. And then we've got a gunline into Undead. So sorry, Owen.
Yeah, oh no.
Yeah, you'll kill lots of stuff.
You say?
Yeah, and then you won't finish them off. And then we've got Tomb Kings into Wild Herd, which, Beastman bias in me says I want Tom to do well there.
Yeah.
Richie, yes, I should shout that out. Richie is streaming, so you'll be able to watch the games at Dowie After Dark, and it'll be fun. I don't know who he's going to have on stream, but looking forward to hopefully not having me on in a round where I get absolutely ruined by Undead. That would be nice. I don't want to lose heinously on stream. I don't mind losing on stream, but I don't want to get bodied by Royal Host on stream.
You can be pretty confident that Royal Host list may not feature particularly regularly on the stream, so you'll probably be all right in your first round.
I think there's some level of interest in it though, because it's different and there's not many people playing.
Different enough, yeah.
Yeah, so seeing it once, don't do what I did, which is have Undead into Undead in round 5 of a tournament.
That wasn't our best call, was it? We were doing so well.
It was me, so I'll take the blame for that one. But yeah, that's the event. I want to wrap this up rather sharpish, but we've got some questions to go through. Before we go to the podcast questions, do you have anything that you want to add?
No, I just wish everyone the best of luck and may the best Skaven player win.
Amazing. And when you say everyone, you mean everyone apart from the Undead and
you.
Cathay players. And me. That goes without saying, yeah. Obviously.
Well, there's a bit of me, obviously, as a Vampire Count and an Undead player. Like, I want them both to do well, obviously, but as long as the balloons don't do well, because I don't actually like the model, so if they could just get nerfed into the ground and everyone stop talking about them, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, I'd like them to be nerfed into just slightly below good. Put them at like a 48%. Like, that would be ideal. So you still get to see them and they still get to do stuff on the tabletop. Anyway, let's have a look at these questions. So we're going to start off with Callum, who definitely didn't ask a silly question. It's a very serious question. If you were going to start a podcast, what would you call it? Something original, or would you just open the rulebook and pick the first thing you see? Man, I wonder who that's referring to. Lewis came up with the name of the channel and the podcast, actually. I've talked about this before. I wanted to call the channel Troll Horde, but I was rightfully argued down. It would have been a bad name. And
I've got the original iPhone note here that has some of the show names.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Choose in the end. The Elector Counts, that was on the list for consideration. Disordered Charge, that was going to potentially be up there. Geomantic Web. What else is on there? The Peasants of Bretonia. That would have been bad. That would have been a pretty bad one. The Battle Standard Bearers remains in play. And what else do we have? The Oak of Ages. So there was some pretty shocking ones in there.
I like the Oak of
or
Ages.
others that could have been. We could have been the Oak of Ages, and you could have had a tree as your symbol.
Yeah, that's not bad. I would have to play a lot more Wood Elves than I have done now. Or I could just go full Tracing Warhost. That'd be it. But yeah, very good. Goldfire says, are you looking forward to your tasting, and which of the flavors are you predicting to be best? Link sent in a DM. Oh, have you looked? Did you get the DM for that as well? Did you get the?
Apparently, there are some chocolate flavored or chocolate coated ones that apparently so coated in chocolate you can only taste chocolate and you can't taste licorice.
Okay, yeah,
that's the one I'm looking forward to.
That does sound good. Or does it what does it say? So there's original passion fruit, salt and caramel, dark and sea salt. Dark and sea salt actually sounds pretty acceptable. I am a big fan of dark chocolate. Then we've got classic caramel, crispy raspberry, double chocolate, salt and caramel. Double chocolate may have taken over as the chocolatiest chocolate to ever chocolate. And then finally, there is mango, vanilla, caramel date, dark truffle, and anniversary. None of those. So if you want to see us suffer, there will be video footage of me not enjoying 10 out of the 12 of those licorice, and maybe being okay with the one that specifically is so chocolatey that you can't taste the licorice. Very, very good. Amy says, what units do you think most need a points change in the upcoming FAQ, and why is the Ragnarok getting a reduction?
The Ragnarok better get a reduction.
Back pain. That's why the Ragnarok's getting a reduction. Points wise, I think it's going to be Forgotten again. I'm so sorry. I know it's your favorite, baby.
You're probably
but, right. I can't see it. I just can't see it. Cool. Then we've got the Matthew says the giant is instead of the Ragnarok. The giant does need a points cut. You could fix the giant with a points cut if you just made it cheap enough. Sure, you bang one in. T6 6 wounds with no real save, but like some level of threat and stomps. That's fine. It's just 200 points is way too many for what it brings.
And that could be applied to a lot of the sort of monsters that can't be ridden by characters. Any of those could realistically come down because there's so much stuff that's set up to kill monsters. Not the giant spawn. Yeah,
good spot, I think. It's like they feel overpowered if you compare them to other monsters, but I think they're about where they should be, and all other monsters suck. That's the sad fact of the matter. Matthew also says, why aren't more people playing lower point games such as Battle March and 1,000 points? I don't know, honestly. The game is balanced around 2,000 points, so that was probably something to do with it. But also, this is a game with more entrenched players, so people typically have larger collections already. And if you've got the large collection, you just play the larger game. People like to bring more toys. That would be my assumption anyway.
500 points is a lot of fun, though, to be fair. The Battle March level. We did a club session probably 3 or 4 months ago where we just sort of did a round robin where there was I think it was 10 of us in the end. People just randomly pairing off. And we managed to play 3 games in an evening and just loads of random games against different people. So it was really good fun. And I think the game, okay, it's balanced around 2,000 points, but it still works at 500 points. Absolutely. I think as long as you go into it with the right attitude, it's a really good laugh. So I think people should play it more. It's good fun. And it's good for new players as well to get involved.
Sure. Steck says, why doesn't the Close Order podcast have dice and other merch yet? This is on my list of things to achieve this year. 2025 was very much the year of just survival. I'm not going to lie to you. It was pretty rough. 2026 is the year of attempting to thrive. Here's the problem, and here's why I haven't done it. You don't actually make much money off merch. If we're just being, blunt about what it is, if you charge reasonable prices, you're probably not going to make much of a margin. And especially when it's more expensive items, like let's say you went for a hoodie, you don't make much money per hoodie, and it's an expensive purchase, so you probably don't sell many of them. So it's not something to do for a financial reason. That's not to say I don't want to do it. I want to do it because I want the stuff. I want the dice, and I'd like to have some merch to wear. I think that'd be cool. And I think it'd be cool to have. But it's been lower down my list of priorities because it's not actually going to help me much. It'll help a little bit, and that'll be nice. But it's not something that you make a huge amount of money from. Amy says Kickstarter dice. I did think about that. So one of the things with dice is the more you buy, the better rate you get on them. So it's something that I need to I need to put some effort into. But I'd like to get something done with that. I'm not going to make promises. I'd like to look at it like first half of the year. That would be, I think, a good amount of time to get started. Kickstart dice. The thing with Kickstarter, because I did actually look into this, is tax liabilities because of different countries. Apparently, you have to sort the tax stuff yourself, which for a small creator just trying to sell a few dice, it ends up being a real pain in the backside. But yeah. T-shirts with "I get coached by Ed, it's why I'm second." Yeah, that would be
That's mean.
Steven says weighted dice. No, you don't want weighted dice unless they're weighted to ones, so you roll badly, so you can make everyone else feel better about yourself. Cool. Then we've got Martin says, when will the next be in the Netherlands? I don't know. I'd love to go back to Amsterdam. I know if I say that to my Netherlands compatriots that I maybe wouldn't be too popular. There is some level of sneering at Amsterdam. I think very similar to how those of us who don't live in the south feel about London, which is super fair. But I really liked it, Amsterdam, when I went there a few years ago, so I'd love to go back. And when I go to the Netherlands, will you take 2 bone grinders in your box of rocks? No. Odd question. I'm not sure what the bone grinders relevance is. Tommy says, I still have your bad dice podcast dice you want to painting contest. That's cool. I will get around to that this year for sure, probably. Hamsfan says, why are the worst units in Orcs and Goblin tribes? The Orcs
This is a great question.
So Hamsfan is one of my coaching students and is absolutely lovely and is really trying to nail down what he wants to do for his lists. The Netherlands cohort's here. Amsterdam ain't all the Netherlands, long to the south, and thank you for correcting yourself. Yes. It was very nice to be in the Netherlands, but I would like to go back to Amsterdam specifically to do the things that I didn't do when I went the first time. I only got to see about half of the tourist attractions. I'd like to do the rest of it. Yeah. Anyway, so Hamsfan, one of my coaching students, lovely guy, a little bit stuck on what he wanted to do. Was asking me some questions, submitted a list, wrote a 500-point list for the escalation, which was, just models. I was like, yeah, cool. If you just want to build and paint models, amazing. And then submitted a 2,000-point list. And I went, we need to build this from the ground up. So we did a 3-hour coaching session that was basically just like, okay, so how do we make what you want to do more reasonably competitive? Because you don't want to write a list. If you're paying for coaching, you're not looking to just write a list of models that you own. That's maybe not what you're looking for.
You can do that yourself.
So we're trying to take the theme but make it as good as possible. And I think we did okay with it. We made some concessions, a couple of units of Night Goblins in there, but still hitting the high points of what you liked. A unit of the Orc Araboys with hand weapons and shields. But yeah, it is a little bit of a shame that the common Orcs and Goblins are overshadowed by their other options. I'm not saying that they're bad, but they are they're not as good at the job that they do compared to the regular Goblins or Black Orcs, with the exception of I quite like Orcs and a unit of Orcs in skirmish with hand weapon shields and warbows. I think that's a genuinely pretty solid off objective holder that has utility in my eyes. I think that does something that the other units don't do. Amy says she's getting flashbacks. Yes, this is okay, you really like giants, bone grinder giants, and Arachnaroks. Okay, how do we make this as good as possible?
I will not budge on my love of Arachnaroks. They will be in every.
Yeah. That's that. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do with your time and your hobby. That's cool. It's just my job then to try and make it as functional as possible.
Make them work at WGC, Ed.
Well, Awkward Phil says, how many snotlings is too many snotlings? Unfortunately, probably 5. I think there is space to put a unit 4 in. I think swarms are underrated typically. Yeah. But the problem is, again, you put all of the other stuff that's really good in core in instead. So it's hard to justify putting them. Steck says, why would anyone suggest there are too many snotlings? Which is a fair perspective. But yeah, that takes us to the end of the questions there. And yeah, it's been good. Looking forward to meeting people who I haven't seen at Masters. If you're here in chat and I haven't met you already, please do come and say hi at some point. Not when I'm mid-game, because I try and focus, but at any other point, it would be lovely to see you and see all of the England reprobates who I haven't seen in a while. It'd be nice to have a catch-up and see how everyone's getting on. So, yeah, anything for you to add there?
Saffron Slam, baby, come buy tickets.